welcome back to Nail Chronicle, and I've got my Christmas special video that I promised in one of my blog posts at some point. So for this round I've got a green base, it's an OPI, I can't remember the name of it, I'll pop it in the either the blog post or the section down below. And I've decided to use my Born Pretty stamping plate, not really my choice, but more because my Manology stamping plates haven't arrived yet, which really sucks, but I know they'll get here eventually. So I've decided to go with some cute red Christmas stockings, and so I did just stamp onto the Beauty Big Bang stamping mat of just the plain image, and you'll notice here I've actually started using a dotting tool instead of my little brushes that I was using for the to fill in the colors. And I've been finding this works a hell of a lot better. I saw that another YouTuber do this, and I'm sorry I can't remember who it was. And I gave it a go, and it works really well. The trick with it is to not treat it like a brush and don't paint it, but to actually kind of dab it. So you've really got to make sure that you have enough on your dotting tool, but also make sure you don't have too much, because you just don't want it to bleed everywhere outside of the lines essentially. So I just sort of took my time and kept dotting these. I did 2 Christmas stocking designs and a couple of different snowman as well, so you'll see those in a second. The red I used there was ILMP Love Me Not. I love that red, it's absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, so I'm now using a OPI white, and it should be Alpine Snow from memory. And just starting to fill in the snowman, and you might notice that I'm using the dotting sort of dabbing technique here a little bit more, but yeah, definitely not brushing, because it will pick up all those lines underneath, and so then you just end up with a blob of white, which looks awful. Yeah, so another thing I've been doing of late is with my stamping is actually creating a few extra images. It just means if I stuff one up, I lift it up too early or accidentally damage it, I don't have to start again and wait for it to dry and all that, so I can just have them all dry. And if it ends up being okay, then I've got a couple of spare ones on hand. You never know, especially if using peel off base coat. So for the snowman, I also put some red on the top of his hat. I thought that'd be kind of cute and match in with the Christmas stockings. So there's 2 ways to put these on. You can either use your hands like I'm doing here, and for some of these bigger ones I actually find it easier to use my hands, have a bit more control, and can sort of line it up a bit easier. This one's a little bit drier than I normally would leave, so that's why I'm able to actually lift it up and replace it. If it's still very wet, then you won't be able to do that, but you'll know. So if you see it start to tearing, just live with it and live with where it's been placed. And with this one as well, I did make it a bit too big. And excuse the horrible scissors you see. So I'm actually left-handed, and I'm using it with my right hand here, and it looks awful. It looks like I'm going to cut myself. I promise I'm not. I was being very careful when I was doing this, and just sort of trimming around the edges. It just makes cleanup a lot easier. So if I do make the thing too big, I will just come around with the scissors and then use my makeup brush with nail polish remover on it to clean up the edges. One thing I did when I tried to place this one was to make sure that I had the at least a few lines of the Christmas stocking, just so it didn't look like I had one random line going down the middle. So that's why you saw me sort of trying to line it up a bit there. So probably the scariest bit, actually, I wasn't so much worried about cutting myself, was cutting the tip of my nail and like creating this horrible jagged edge. Especially when you've just done your nails, you don't have to go back and refile it. So I managed to get through that one. It's a good idea if you are cutting the edges off, just to have a little pad or something, so that you can put your nail polish or the little offcuts on the mat. So here I'm just really carefully lifting up the snowman with the tweezers. I did the same thing with the Christmas stocking. I'll remember that word eventually by the end of the video, I hope. Anyway, so same technique. I kind of used the tweezers to put this onto my nail, and then sort of just use my hand to smooth it out and put it into place. The heat of your hand can actually work quite well to get it on the nail, particularly if you've left it there for a little bit long, which I did do for these ones because I'm a little bit distracted with some other things. I tend to multitask a little bit when I do my nails, so yeah. So here we go. So here you can see I can sort of lift it up but really gently, and then just sort of push it on and work out sort of where I roughly want it. And because these have got the clear on it, they don't have as much chance of smudging, which is great, but they still can smudge, so just be careful when you put your top coat on. Anyway, so this is my first Christmas design. I hope you like it. I hope it gives you some inspiration. I'll be doing a few more videos, and I'll do a couple of designs. It might not necessarily be on my own nails, but I'll show you some ideas that you can do without nail stamping, because I know it's really hard to get right. And looking back at my stuff from last year, it's definitely improved a lot, but I've still got a long way to go. So anyway, until my next video, have a good Christmas, and I'll see you next time. Bye.